Alrighty, everyone. Welcome back to. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Offset Conversation here in Automotive Anatomy. Today's guest is a gentleman, um, who I met again. In this journey of this whole not having friends and wanting to learn about cars.
Hmm.
I met Joe, and then Joe gave me an opportunity to interview him, and honestly, I was surprised that he did because his car's so clean. And the reason I say that is because it was at the beginning of the channel. It's so much
Hmm.
harder to get people to kind of say, yeah, I'll give you the time.
Hmm.
And then from Joe, I met this gentleman named Alan. Alan, um, is our guest today. Thank you so much, man, for making the time for us.
Thank you for
And
having
and Alan, I wanted to have a conversation with you just because I've had so many different conversations with you at different random meets
me.
that you host, and I always get so much out of it, so much positivity. And I kind of want to know just where all that comes from and stuff. So and then obviously your brand. I'm a huge supporter of Fredo Forever,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
and I had heard of you guys way before thanks to DJ. So it's like a small little world.
Hmm.
But now it's like now I'm getting to know people. So uh, Alan, thank you so much, man, for making the time.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Be an honor to be here.
My very first question: what in the world is cold cheese challenge, homie? I left my country because we were tired of cold cheese. I haven't been to In-N-Out, but I've been wanting to go to In-N-Out just so I can get the cheese, melted
Hmm.
and say it.
That's
Dude,
funny.
what's up with
Quite honestly, I don't. Yeah, I don't even know how it gained traction. Um, like how it did this past week. It's weird. Um, and here I'll back up a little bit. As a little short story, I was as a kid, I used to be that kid that would go into the house, just on a little short lunch break or something, then going back outside to go play with my homies and stuff like that on the block. But I used to always love getting the Kraft cheese singles and just opening them right out of the plastic and just eating them cold. I had no idea why and where I learned that from, but I had a thing for it. And as time went on, obviously forgot about it. You tend to grow up and things like that. But then as you grow up, you start to understand and want to harness that inner child again. So then I went to In-N-Out randomly, and it was actually one of the workers who told me about it. I told him, I was like, you know what, I want something new. What are some crazy um, customizations that people do? He was like, have you tried cold cheese? I was like, whoa, okay, I'm down. So I think it was like what 2012, 2013 when I really got heavily into it. I started getting it as my normal default burger and whatnot. And then everyone used to hate on it. I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I like what I like. You worry about what you like. If you
yeah.
want to try it, then try it. That's fine. And I think the first person, it was like last week. Um, my homie Mikey up north in NorCal was like, he shouted me out on Instagram. He's like, let's try this cold cheese out. Because him and I used to like, talk about it like behind closed doors. And then, just one thing leads to another. People just, they see it, like they're curious. And I think what it is I don't want to take credit for the cold cheese, to be honest. I think it's just a curiosity that really kills people. They're like, I want to try that. Something so simple yet so effective. I want to try it. So that's how that went.
No, plus it's fun because like
Yeah,
it
dude.
it's cool to like be at In-N-Out drive through or get your hamburger, take a picture, and then
Yeah,
post it like because it goes back to that like it makes you feel part of something like it's a joke,
yeah, yeah.
Here
It
you
is.
go,
It is.
here you go, Alan, and oh my god, I saw that for the first time and I was like that doesn't look half bad, and then more and more and more people, and it's almost like sock check, like the higher the sock, the downer the fool, and so it's just jokes.
Yeah.
But I must admit, I am considering going and trying out just because of it.
Try it.
But
Try it. I always tell people to try it before they knock it. Any concept what you do, just try it before you knock something. And if you don't like it, that's fine. That's okay. At least you tried it. You know.
very true, man. That's funny. You said where you were growing up with the homies. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Ontario,
Mm,
so I still live in Ontario today. But yeah, I grew up in Ontario. And yeah, just went through elementary school here, Richie Haynes, right there on Francis Street, right across the street from Ontario High School. Then for middle school, my mom actually moved me over to St. George, which is also Ontario, which is on Euclid and G Street. So that's when I transitioned to the private school. Did that for seventh and eighth grade, and then from there I went to ended up at Damien in Laverne for high school for 9 through 12.
interesting.
Yeah, but I've been in Ontario for pretty much majority of my life. Went to Rancho for a little, moved to Rancho for about 7 years. Went there probably like lived there from like eighth grade to about out of high school, and then pretty much went off. After that, kind of grew up and then kind of moved back. And then here, man, back in Ontario,
That's cool,
back in my
man.
hometown. Yeah,
So IE's always been home for you.
yeah. IE's always been the home for me. Inland Empire, 909 area has always been a home to me. No matter
Oh,
where, we even lived in Chino Hills for a little bit.
oh,
It's still part of Inland Empire, but not really. But Ontario, the heart of the IE, stuff like that, San Bernardino County, whatnot. So yeah, that's my where my heart belongs over here.
that's cool, man.
Yeah,
That's gonna make a lot of people happy because there's so much, ever since Jenny 69 came out of IE, just.
yeah, yeah. I still a low key, still kind of low key. We're starting to get on the map here and there. Whatever people with whatever they do, people whether it's singing. Kendrick Lamar's from IE,
Oh,
plays
I didn't know
basketball.
that.
Yeah, he actually had a house in Eastvale. Actually, believe it or not,
What?
his mama's house was in Eastvale somewhere there, and a couple other things.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. There's one of the top players. I can't recall the program. Alabama, Oklahoma, Clemson,
Uh-huh.
for football. Like their kid came out of IE, and it's just
Yeah.
like there's a lot.
Yeah, there's
Just
a lot. IE is a lot bigger than people think. IE heads all the way out to Riverside. And even Riverside in San Bernardino is considered IE Inland Empire. So Inland Empire, it's pretty much 909, 951 area codes and whatnot. So it's pretty big for the most part.
and now that I've been interviewing a lot of you guys, like holy crap, there's a lot of great builds out there.
Yeah, and that's what's surprising about it. Growing up in the car scene, going to car meets all the way back then. Like Fontana, and then Ontario street races. You get a lot of like um, different style builds. Whether if it's just drag racing builds and whatnot, or you get like the the janky cars and whatnot. But if people like what they like, but IE was never known for like really really nice builds. Not like compared to like builds that are in like Washington or like in different states, Texas and stuff like that, right? But slowly getting on the map, you got Joe on there, right? Joe part of the IE, so you got a nice build. I wouldn't consider my
Amazing.
car, yeah. I wouldn't consider
Oh
my
no, no,
car a
no,
nice
yours
build
is
either, but
amazing too, man.
has
There's a
character. A little rough around the edges, but has character, right?
You drive it, you drive it. So who were you in high school? Like if you had to describe yourself, who's Alan?
High school Alan, I'm not too proud of really. Even though I went to a decent high school and everything like that, believe it or not, Catholic school still had a lot of bad kids. A lot of
They're the worst.
yeah, they're the worst. People think when you go to Catholic schools that those kids are all like straight edge, everything like that. Hell no, hell no. I think I picked up a lot of my bad habits in the 20s from high school. Always partying. At first, my this what freshman year, was into sports and stuff like that. Football, basketball. Did that for a couple years. Didn't really put in my all, and then I got into like partying. Just typical high school stuff. Partying, going to clubs, things like that. And yeah, that was that really. I'm not really too proud of those moments of my life, but I understand it. I understand the aspect, and yeah, it definitely changed my route for a little bit for sure. But yeah, Catholic kids
Yeah.
are Catholic school kids. It's a hit or miss, but majority I want to say it's probably like 60. Believe it or not, I graduated in '09, right? My class was known for the most expulsions in Damien history. I think we had like over 100 something expels. And majority of it was from like drug related problems and stuff like that. Not to talk bad on, on the high school. The high school was great. I learned a lot on from Damien. I actually love the education background there because they teach you so many different things. And so when I got to college, they really prepped me for college. College seemed pretty easy for the first 2 years.
Hmm.
So it was a good college prep school. I admit that. But as far as the kids that enroll there, I feel like a lot of their parents sent them there to get straight.
No, yeah, definitely. And obviously, it didn't work, or
Yeah.
maybe it did. I don't know.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did. I mean, I turned out okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny you mentioned. I mean, as an entrepreneur yourself, like I think there's a lot about school that we don't. I'm the same way. I didn't take a
Mhm.
full advantage of what the high school is. It's a
Yeah.
great high school, but I didn't take
Mhm.
advantage, and it was because I wanted to hang out with certain people,
Exactly.
be a certain way, dress a certain way, and so
Mhm.
now looking back, yeah, man, I'm like, oh man, I was dumb. I could have done
Yeah.
better choices.
Yeah.
but you live, you learn, and
Mhm.
now you're in this situation. And so after high school, like, were you, first of all, what position did you play in football?
So I tried out for linebacker. Before I went to linebacker, I was playing O line. I was playing tight end for a little bit. But I was small, dude. In high school, I was like 190 pounds tops, and I was on the O line. And then I think after I proved them that I can actually run a good 40, that's when they put me on linebacker. Because in essence, I just really wanted to hit people, to be honest, release a lot of anger, stuff like that. But football didn't really last too long for me. Uh,
Gotcha.
like I said, you get sidetracked by all the distractions. You want to be with your friends, you want to be with around the girls and stuff like that. So yeah, things of that nature for sure.
Well, I mean, now you look like a full-on NFL linebacker.
I wish. Majority is the genetics. I think, my honest opinion, just genetics and hard work.
And cold cheese.
Yeah, and cold cheese for sure.
You've been kicking ass, man. Like, I mean, I see you just I mean, you were already in good shape to begin with since I met you, but now, like, I think
Mhm.
you've stepped it up a little bit
Yeah.
this last year for sure. I mean, I see you
Mhm.
working out, and I see the wifey working out with you, and it's like,
Mhm.
damn, like, did something change? Are you taking your health more serious, or
Yeah.
like,
I had a daughter, so my daughter's almost 3 months. She'll be 3 months on the 30th. And ever
congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. But yeah, ever since then, I found out February of last year that my wife was pregnant. Um, I was already trying to get in the mode of like working out and everything like that, but that's when it just really kicked off. And, I have to take care of my health to make sure that her daughter has her dad for a very long time and stuff like that. So I think that's what drives me the most is you know just being there, making sure that I can set a good example uh, for my baby and stuff like that. Uh, and then just really able to enjoy, my life with her later down the line. I don't want to, health is something I took very important because believe it or not, in 2015, I was almost 310 pounds in 2015. 310 pounds.
Whoa, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
And a lot of people don't remember that. But I was borderline having diabetes. I was sleeping very often, which obviously means there might be something wrong, things of that nature.
Wow,
So
I
yeah,
didn't know
so
that, man.
yeah, dude,
310.
I had 310, 310
Oh.
pounds, uh, just fucking lazy, dude, just lazy, just nothing to go wrong with my life, had shit to my name, and ever since that turning point, it was a really wake up call for health,
Were you with your wife now, or no?
Yeah, I was with her still. We were just boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. I've been with my wife for right out of high school. We're high school sweethearts. So I want to say almost 14.
Oh,
Yeah. Thank you.
wow.
Thank you. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And she stuck with me all the way through thick and thin, like legitly, like through thick and thin, legitly. I'm surprised she didn't leave my ass. I would have left my ass at that point in my life, but
Ooh,
she
ooh.
stuck by. So
Oh,
that's kind of when I realized that she was a one for sure. Mama loved her,
I
everything
got
like that.
I got the chills, dude. I legit got the chill when you said I would have left my ass. Like, I think, like,
Oh yeah.
and I'm guilty of this,
Hmm.
I feel like you get comfortable.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
And walk me through this, because damn, I didn't even expect to talk about this, but it's a very topic that is strong for me. But
Hmm.
310, I think the most I've ever been was like 250, 260. But I knew I was big, but I was in
Hmm.
denial. And it took me to go to my buddy's wedding, and there was two other classmates from high school that he invited, and so we decided to take a picture.
Hmm.
Granted, I took a white shirt that day, but still, I look huge. And I remember, being so, I guess, ignorant. I was with my girlfriend, now wife, and I'm like, how come you didn't tell me? Like, she's like, what do you mean? Like, I,
Yeah.
I was mad at her for not telling me that's a fat ass, but she's like, I always tell you to eat less. So
Hmm.
obviously, I was projecting anger at the wrong area. But um,
Hmm.
what was that break moment for you? I mean, 310, dude. Damn. Did you feel
Just
big?
yeah, like especially coming, I was normally athletic even throughout high school. I was decently athletic. I wasn't like obese or anything like that, but after you get the relationship weight, you get comfortable. Um, but yeah, dude, the turning point was just like I know something's wrong with me. Like I'm waking up sluggish. I didn't really have a job at the time. I was just rolling fenders and whatnot. But yeah, that was my life, and I hated it. I was like, this can't be. I think what it was really, it was just like unconditionally, everyone was like trying to, even my grandfather at the time was like, "Hey, I'll buy you a gym pass." I was like, "I don't want
Mhm.
a fucking gym pass. What are you trying to say? I'm fat?" But in reality, I was in denial. I was just mad at everyone trying to control my life to whatever their standard was at the time. That was my thought process. I'm just like, that's not me. But then, like I said, you start to reflect on yourself, and you start to, wake up one day and just like, fuck, I'm fed up with this. I'm tired of being like feeling like this. I'm tired of feeling like fat, sluggish, not shit to my name. It gets to you. You hit your lowest point, and then it causes you to change. So then, ever since then, like I said, 2015, I remember taking a picture, January 20th, 2015, and I always remind myself, I look at this picture because it's my first picture that I ever took of myself without a shirt off, and it was right after my first gym session with my homie Justin. And that's when it was just like, I need to change. This is where life needs to take its course. I'm 20 something years old. I need to change. I need something that's going to solidify my future, because I know this is not it. I know this is the dead end, and I know there's nothing past it. So I need to change something. So that was pretty much the turning point. My wife never really told me like she was going to leave me or anything like that, but I had, just in my head and just in my feelings, just like, no, like, dude, she's gonna leave you if you keep this up, you know. And I always told myself that. And then it's either you shape up or you just quit, throw in the towel. But just judging by my nature and the people who I surrounded myself at the time, like they weren't quitters. I can't represent that. I don't want to affiliate myself with that. So I just knew there was more to life than just being 300 something pounds, eating whatever the fuck I wanted, and then I can't even walk up the stairs without taking a deep breath. Just like out of breath already. So you kind of just have to pay attention to those small little signs and then make an effort to change.
So what were the biggest changes? Did you just hit the gym and start eating less?
Yeah. So first time working out was the struggle. So I looked at I hit up my homie Justin, uh, Justin Suh, and he really put me on course as far as he invited me to go do a gym session with him at 24 Hour Fitness, and that first workout session, dude, it was mind blowing. I was just like, yeah, I can't. This is fucking hard, you know. But he stayed true to me, his loyalness, and he gave great coaching tips and whatnot. And I kept at it. It was a way for him and I to bond. Him and I ended up having a really good friendship and relationship, and you know, even to this day, he's like one of my best friends. So I owe a lot to him too for setting me on this track and then going from there. But those are the changes. I didn't really change too much of my diet. Um, I just started eating a little bit cleaner, and stuff like that. Hydrating more, making sure that I at least getting some activity in my body a day, and then obviously into that, when you start getting, a little bit more advanced into training, I got into powerlifting, and that's when we got into powerlifting. This was about 2016, or no, not even 2016, probably 2017, 2018 is when I really got heavily into powerlifting. Did my first USPA meet, everything like that, and just that alone just set my whole fitness, and it became part of my life. So now I look at going to the gym as just a normal routine. I don't look at it to like I need to do this to lose weight. I'm like, no, I need to do this because this is what I need to do. Things of that nature.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, man. I think
Yeah,
it's crazy to really just kind of capture. Um, I think if you're not overweight, you don't know. You don't
yeah,
know. You don't know.
exactly.
I know what you're saying. I think what you're mentioning is 100% right. Um, and those small changes definitely go a huge way. But it also sounds like you're a very like go getter. Once you set yourself into something, you kind of
Mhm.
just don't stop. You make no excuses. I mean,
Yeah.
is that you mentioned something about you were rolling fenders. So like walk me through after high school, like college or what happened there?
Yeah, so I went to Norco College for on and off for like a year or two. Believe it or not, I still haven't finished college. I don't have a degree in college or anything like that. I ended up just going to work. I worked at Target for almost a year and a half. Got some oddball jobs here and there. But one time, like I said, I was rolling fenders just to get extra side cash, in
Hmm.
hand. This is when the whole Hella Fresh scene hit the car scene pretty heavily. People were like stretching tires, load dumped, whatever. So I was really heavily into that. That's how Citadel started. It was just a fender rolling side business for me, you know. And then from there, from that point, from rolling fenders, that's when I met Ken. Um, Ken Swen. He's actually my old boss at Godspeed, and he offered me a job at Godspeed. He's like, "Hey, we have a position open here at Godspeed. Do you want it?" And I ended up staying there for like 4 years of my life. So
Wow.
yeah, so that, and then I was still kind of doing the fender rolling thing here and there, but I got sick of it. I was just like, I'm tired of getting my hands dirty. My back hurts. Like, and then I realized like, I don't want people showing up at my personal house all the time, and I have all this stuff that I'm acquiring as the years go by. I'm just like, I'm done with this. And on top of that, I have no benefits. I'm getting old. I have no benefits. I have no, proof on paper that I can, that I can afford to buy something. So then that's when I took the job at Godspeed, and then from there, just that was my 4 years of my life right there.
That's crazy, man. I think you
Hmm.
mentioned something like I don't have, benefits and I have, medical stuff. It's like your mind starts shifting, and now with
Oh
your,
yeah,
with your beautiful daughter, it's like holy crap, like
yeah. Now,
times 100, right?
yes,
Because
yes,
who
yes,
cares
yes.
about me? But if my kiddo cannot be taken care of, then I can
Hmm.
only imagine. Um, so obviously fitted though. Tell me a little bit about that, just because the first time I ever heard it was by our buddy DJ.
Hmm.
Um, I think he posted some pictures on the forum, and
Hmm.
he was like, "Oh, last weekend festivities, I took the car out to Fitted though," and then I started looking at pictures. And then I started learning a little about you guys. So tell me a little bit about that. What is it? Because now you have merch, and
Yeah.
you continue to drop merch, and I think
Hmm.
like like you mentioned, it's very creative. You don't want to just have like a cookie cutter type of thing. So
Oh yeah.
tell me like how does it even where does the name come from?
So I was looking for a name to advertise for my fender rolling business.
Mhm.
At the time there was a couple of people that were doing fenders. There was like, Tony in the 818 that was doing fenders. I think Tony still does fenders today. And then All Wheel Drive Albert was over here in Riverside at the time. So there was very little fender rollers. I had no name though. It was just all through word of mouth. Like, yo, I know how to roll fenders. I've done it. I practice on my car many of times. You should be able to do that. I'm there.
The
Because
big
yeah, exactly. I bought a fender roller to do my car because I didn't, no one else was doing it. And I wasn't gonna pay $300 to go get my fenders rolled at the time. So like, I can buy the fender roller thing myself for like $80 on eBay. Why the hell not? So then I learned how to do it, and then slowly but surely, people started like, "Hey, can you do mine? Can you do mine? Can you do mine?" And that's how I met a lot of the fiddler guys today. So the whole name behind Fiddler was actually given by the homie Miguel. He was just like, we were just kicking it one time. He was just like, I was like, "What are some names?" And he was like, "Dude, just name it Fiddler." I was like, that's not a bad name. So then kind of rolled from there, and then used that name to just do strictly fender rolling for a lot of times. And then slowly, when I stopped fender rolling, I stopped, catering to the Fiddle IG and stuff like that, and all the social program or social
Mhm.
platforms that we had. But what I realized that I got out of that was a lot of homies that were just really just loyal and just kept coming around. You know, um, it kind of stemmed from the old, meets back on Lime Night where I met one of my best friend Carlo and all them. It was just it originally it was an eighth gen Civic meet, but slash like random other people's, and then from there we started hosting our own meets, our own Fiddle meets. Said Fiddle Mondays, let's just roll out. So it was just the same homies just kept coming back over and over again every single Monday, and we did that for a long time. And then what I realized out of that is that I gained a lot of friends out of this. So that's when we stuck with the name Fiddle for a long time. But in a sense, I kind of transitioned it over to um, just pretty much having something to look back on in the future. Just as a not really necessarily car crew or whatever we said. It was just homies. We were just like a bunch of brothers and homies just hanging out doing the same thing till like 4 or 5 in the morning or whatever. So it just was a reoccurring thing. And then when I really kicked it up a gear and kind of made the transition to make it into like slash merch slash like photo coverage and like little features here and there is when Joe came along and really helped me with it. And we tried to pretty mimic the other brands that are out there, like Stance Nation. We tried mimicking like Can I Beat, like all the other Fat Lace, all those other ones. So that's when we transitioned to it. And then fast forward a couple more years, obviously, we have other priorities now. But I look back at it and I don't regret anything. I don't like to look at it as a business. I like to look at it as just something that I can reflect on, and it's basically a network of all my brothers together, and it's something that we can move forth and kind of tell previous generations, or influence other generations to do their own thing, or to see how we do it, and just like sticking to the whole just homage to the car scene. So then that's when I kind of named it. I changed the name to FTF Forever, because in a sense it's for the family. It's for my brothers. This is the reason why I keep doing it, is because they helped me get all the connections, everything that I have today. I wouldn't be shit without them. Big part of my life is with all the Philadelphia guys. So yeah, Philadelphia family, FTF Forever. That's what it came down to.
Man, it seems like it's so smooth and so easy for you to just deploy gratitude. I think like every time, like I told you, I've had conversations with you
Mm-hmm.
on different things, from
Mm-hmm.
traveling and just family and friends and maturing and things like that. And gratitude always seems to be coming up with you, and it's
Gotcha.
clear. That's clear. I think it
Yeah.
speaks very highly. You're just a positive person to be around with, and I think that goes a long way because um, it just influences other people that
Mm-hmm.
want to do something. Whether it's in this case bodybuilding or
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
their their own clothing brands.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's cool that it's a sense of a community. I know that the Monday night meets, they've been going on for a while. They kind of
Mm-hmm.
slowed down a little bit. Any plans on making those come back?
Eventually, but I want to do it the right way. The parking lot meets were bound to come to an end. I'm surprised it even lasted that long, quite honestly, without getting rolled on by the cops. I mean, we have a couple of friends that work for Ontario PD. They do their best to um, try to make sure we can have our meets still, but it just gets too big to a certain time. Just you remember last time it was like almost like 200 cars on a fucking Monday night, so it was bound to happen, but I think the next time it comes around, like I said, one of my future plans is to maybe even host our own show, or maybe host our own track event one day, and just do it the legit way. No more, we kind of grown past the parking lot stage, just because, we're all older now. A lot of us are starting to have kids now, getting married. We have jobs that, take up a lot of the time. We don't have a lot of the homies that we have today is just like, we're just busy, we're just trying to grow up. So but it's not going anywhere. It's something that we all looking, we all are on the same page with it, that it's going to be here forever. It's something that we can just not really, we don't really care about the growth that it brings. We just want to just keep making more memories for us. Everyone in Philadelphia knows that, what their contribution is to the name as a whole, or whatever, if you want to call it a brand or not. So it's just just establishing, memories that we can look back on. Even today, even last night when I was looking at, old YouTube videos and whatnot, it was just funny because, we were just like looking, just reflecting and seeing like how much we've grown since then. So why not just keep advancing as time goes on? It's going to be forever, something forever. We're all passionate about it. I think when Joe and I were, in a sense, in a sense, recruiting people, I guess, we didn't care about what the fuck your car looked like. We didn't care if you drove a minivan, but if you kept coming around and, you had good positive attitude and everything like that, that's what we want to surround ourselves with. So, and ever since then, it's, everyone's been A1 since day one. And it's crazy to me, and it's something that's so simple, can something, be built for a long time thing that we can all appreciate. I want to be like 60, 70 years old and look back like, damn, those are some good days, and then to be chilling, or, with them, or in someone's backyard having a barbecue and all of our little kids running around, that's our future thing,
Wild.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just that, just all, homage to the scene, helping future generation car enthusiasts, everything of that nature, just all along the lines.
That's crazy, man. I love seeing your clothing brand. The different designs that you guys go with. How do you guys come up with your ideas of making shirts? Because they're all different.
Yeah, they're all different. So how it started was, I didn't really want, especially, starting a brand and everything like that. I wanted us to have our own original, content and stuff like that. We don't want to, branch, utilize and kind of use other people's brands to promote ours, or, taking a design from another company and making it into ours, stuff like that. I wanted something, more genuine, just built on genuine and authentic. So a lot of my, when we first started, we had a couple of homies that were super into art, graffiti, stuff like that. Some of them are tattoo artists today. So to help them promote their social media platform, or to help them as artists, I was like, hey, you know what? Can you design something for me? And I'll pay you X amount of dollars, and we'll put it on a shirt. It's just our way of collaborating with
Right.
this upcoming artist, So, and then that's what we did. So every single shirt that we designed is one of the homies made it. It's just helping them promote whatever they feel like they're doing, or some of them, like the homie Mark, did a couple of our old ones, and he just wanted to do it just to do it. He's like, yeah, he's like, I just wanted it for the fulfilling of just seeing my art on someone's back.
Super
That's what I want.
crazy. Super crazy
Yeah.
to see.
So that's what we're doing. So every time we drop merch, it's like, I don't care about the dollar amount. It's just something the profits that I take is just to pour into the next project. I don't really make money off this stuff.
Oh, I
Stuff
know.
like that. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
it's more so just,
What-
moving forward, and then, passing it here and there, stuff like that.
It's funny you mentioned that because people that don't know or don't I've never tried to create brand
Hmm.
or merch. They think like I think your hat was around $30, right? So somebody
Hmm.
would be like, oh my god, it's expensive. Well, hold on, like once you go buy a hat this quality and then you
Hmm.
get embroidered, and then you see the size
Hmm.
stuff, and uh, it adds up. And
It adds up.
by the
Shipping,
way, shipping.
shipping materials.
By the way, if it gets lost, like it's just,
Yes, yes, yes,
I
yes,
mean,
yes.
I mean, I've had that. So once at the end of the day, by the way, that's not even counting all the hours that you spend doing all of this.
Hmm.
It doesn't magically get ordered by itself. It doesn't magically get, you have to talk to somebody to get it done.
Hmm.
And then, having to open the pre-order on social media or your website and then having to close it. I mean, there's so much to it that goes.
Oh
So
yeah.
I 100% agree. And I think like the fact I would want you to continue. I know that you're busy with stuff, but
Hmm.
I would want to continue, seeing the designs from your homies on a
Hmm.
shirt, on a hat, or whatever the case may be, because it's cool. It's a cool feeling, it's
Yeah,
memorabilia, kind of
yeah,
what we're discussing.
yeah. Exactly. It's memorabilia, and it's cool too for like everyone in Faro to see like random people wear it. Wear the shirt and like, oh damn, that's tight. And it's just cool. It's really cool to see. I think that's where it means the most to me. Like I said, like the dollar amount, I don't give a shit about it. As long as it covers all the lost hats, if it covers all the shipping, materials, everything like that nature, and I can have some extra money to pour into the next project, um, it's fun. That's what makes it. It's fun. It's fulfilling. That's why I do it. It's fulfilling to me.
Yeah, I
You know.
went with my buddy to pick up a fender from, I can't remember, it was in the IE though.
Hmm.
And we get out of the car, the guy gets out. It was a BMW fender, and he sees me, and I was wearing the Smile Now, Cry Later shirt.
Hmm.
He goes, "Oh shit, the homies from Fitado?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, it's my homies." He's like, "Oh, that's what's up, man." And I think he gave us like a $20 discount because of it.
Oh, that's dope. See, that's hella sick. See, that's cool. That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. So I was like, "All right, now I know to wear. Now I know to wear this shirt and it wasn't even for me. It was for my homie, But
Yeah, thanks for
and,
sharing that. That's awesome. That's, like I said, it's fulfilling. Like I
no,
said,
and,
it's.
and my homie asked me, he's like, what is that? And
Hmm.
because you see the Smile Now Cry Later print, but then
Hmm.
the design. So what is that? And I was like, oh, that's my homie's brand. And just to even say that, honestly, like to consider you, to be able to say, oh no, I know Alan personally, like it's
Hmm.
such a like it's humbling. And to say, oh yeah, that's a homie's brand,
Hmm.
whether you may see it as a brand, whether you don't care to scale it as much or whatever, because I know demand, if
Yeah.
you'll keep doing it as long as people continue to support,
Hmm.
um and even if they don't, like, you'll do it just at a smaller number.
On a smaller scale, yeah.
Yeah, smaller scale, but it's so cool to just see that, because I've come across some of your product in different meets, and I
Hmm.
look at them, I'm like, damn, I don't have that shirt, I missed out on that collab,
Hmm.
whatever the case may be. But going back to that, like the cold damn cheese, it's something that you're part of, and so
Yeah.
when you see somebody else rocking it, um, it just creates this sense of community, which is
Yeah. Indeed.
honestly, at the end of the day, that's the best thing.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned, if when if you actually get some positive profit there, um, does that go into your car, or how do you? Because I mean, your car is pretty
Hmm.
sick.
Yeah, no. Quite honestly, everything that I drop from Philadelphia stays within Philadelphia stuff. It all stays within FTF stuff. So even like when we every time we drop extra shirts and stuff like that, I don't put that cash into my personals at all. I keep that completely separate. And thankfully, I'm you know disciplined to do that. I don't like to commingle the funds from one project to something else in my life. I like to keep it exactly where it's at because I made a promise to myself when we first started. Is it's like this is the money that I'm going to put in, and I'm just going to keep rotating that money, so I don't have to actually pour my own personal money into the project. So just reoccurring, just recycling money, recycling, pouring into the next project and going with that, and going on to the with the whole community based thing. And I think that's what makes it more fulfilling is that is built on genuine. It's authentic. um, People know that it's not built on to make money. I advertise it to that, so we don't I don't want people to feel like I'm trying to make money off you. It's just I want you to feel like you're buying a product from us because you actually support us. I hate that monetary value. People start brands and they you go into the aspect is I want to make money off this, but to me, I tried that and it ruined it. More so when I turned it into like just a small time thing here and there type process, not coming off too salesy. That's when everything went up because and that's true. Like I said, I don't like to make um really heavy profits off of this. This is all the money that I'm getting is literally going into the next project or planning for future events and stuff like that. Like I said, one of my biggest goals for FTF is to throw our own event, with permits, everything legit, like some type on, and I dream of having it on some type of week fest status one day, different states and everything like that. That's
Oh.
my dream.
Mm-hmm.
And to live out that dream without having to worry too much about the monetary process of it. It's just like I said, it's just putting every single cent and dollar into the dream itself. Because I mean, we live in America. We can have a dream. That's dope. To live your dream is one thing. And then to actually carry it out is another. And I think that's what's fulfilling about it.
And I mean, honestly, I personally wouldn't mind if you were to say, yeah, some of the money that I, from
Yeah.
this goes back to the car. I mean, I do that.
Yeah.
If I sell some shirts again,
Oh yeah.
honestly, in the I think I've done the math a couple times, and I'm like, I'm losing money when I make
Oh yeah.
shirts because I have, I'm like, so. But if I do have the opportunity for people to show love and support, and that goes into the car, there's times where, I was able to buy the suspension
Mm-hmm.
for my brother on his
Mm-hmm.
Accord based on the ads of YouTube and then
Yeah.
shirts. And so I mean that's the reason why I was asking. But it sounds like you made yourself accountable and made
Yeah.
yourself a promise that that was gonna stay like that. And
Yeah.
so when it comes to the car itself, I mean, tell us a little about some of the people that may not know what kind of car you drive and how sick it is.
I drive a 2018 Civic SI or 2008
Whoa,
Civic SI.
whoa, my boy.
HN, sorry, dude. Oh, please,
See,
the HN
see.
community, please don't kill me for that. But yeah, 2008 Civic SI. That's what I drive. HN Civic, Nighthawk Black.
See,
Well, kind of Nighthawk Black.
he's been selling so many shirts that now he moved up. Now he
No,
sells
no, no,
out.
no,
It's a
no, no, no,
2018
no.
Civic.
2008,
Okay,
2008,
okay,
2008 Honda
okay.
Civic SI. That's my pride and joy right there, and I've owned that car right out of high school. Sold my whole Jordan and SB collection to put a down payment on it. Yeah, it's been my car ever since then. Probably one of the best cars ever made, quite honestly. So yeah, almost 14 years and counting. So basically, I look at my car, and I've owned my car for as long as my wife and I've been together. So it's a huge sentimental value thing to me. But yeah, that's my pride and joy right there. It's has a secret front end, cool advans and whatnot, full tech screen,
Super,
whatever, blah blah blah.
super cool. I love how you're trying to say it without laughing. Dude, your car's freaking sick, man. Like
It's cool.
I know it's not your personality to be like, like that, but I love your car. I mean, the setup that you have it right now. I mean, whatever's left of it because you just went gutted city on it,
Hmm.
and so the car's gutted. So like, tell me about 2022. What are the plans for it? I mean, I know you mentioned track, things like
Yeah.
that.
I want to get it painted finally. That's one of my goals, to get it
No,
painted.
no,
It's a
no.
step. It's a step. It's a step. It's as much as, like I said, as much as I don't really care for it to be painted and be all one color. It's more so just it's something to me that, like a personal thing I've always wanted to do. I even though I use it for whatever purpose, it's mainly my dedicated like track car right now, just my fun car. I don't daily drive it anymore or anything like that. So it's more so I can actually physically go back and just, do all the things that I originally wanted to do when I first started it. The paint thing, again, it's one of those stepping stones for me to like, damn, okay, I finally did it. I finally got the whole car painted. So it's one of those. I think a few years back, I just made a promise to myself is I wanted to just buy once, cry once type deal. So that's why I waited so long. But yeah, I eventually want to get it painted and
What color?
maybe turbo it. That is still in the air. I have like three other colors I want to kind of decide on, but I'll let it come to me. I'll let it come to me for sure.
And then you said turbo, so mechanically you're gonna boost it, or maybe. I
Yeah,
mean, in the future. I mean,
yeah, in the future. I mean, like I said, my car, my motor, my motor is getting on its last leg, so I'm kind of just trying to ride it out before like spending any money onto it. So that's my thought process. I'm just gonna like, why change anything if it still works, So I'll just keep doing it, and hopefully my motor doesn't blow when I'm at a track day, and knock on wood. And then from there we'll start the rebuild process. Like I said, it's what's one of those. It's a car to me that I've stayed true to. It's helped me through a lot in my life. Have so many memories in it, and it's gonna stay with me forever. Unless someone wants to give me $200,000 for it for my sentimental value, but I don't see that's going to happen. Like I said, it's coming with me till forever.
oh, that's such a good feeling, man. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's crazy. Um, do you need a break or anything?
What happened?
Do you need a break?
Yeah, we could. Yeah, we can do
Yeah,
it.
you can take a break if you want, so that way.
Sounds good.
All right. So I'm still kind of like have questions about the whole bodybuilding because
Of
it
course.
just it's so first of all,
Uh huh.
who's your favorite bodybuilder, and who do you think is the GOAT bodybuilder? I know
Oh
that's
man.
a big question because I mean
Yeah.
really, but who's your
There's a
favorite?
lot.
Who's your favorite?
There's a lot. It's hard. It's hard to say. I mean, I took a lot of influence from a lot of them. Um, but probably Stan Efferding is probably one of my favorites. Stan, he introduced. I actually found out about Stan Efferding from a lot of my old lifting homies. From we used to powerlift a lot, and he preached the whole vertical diet type stuff and different methods of training. And then I met my coach back. I met coach on my ex coach Calvin, and he got me into the whole conjugate training, West Side training, which stems from uh, freaking. I just forgot his name right now. I can't even say. I can't. I feel bad for not forgetting. Let me pull up his name real quick.
Yeah.
Uh,
Aside from bodybuilding, do
yeah,
you
yeah.
do any like martial arts or
No, it's just
jujitsu?
strictly
Okay.
strictly just weightlifting. Really. I mean, I wouldn't even consider my training like bodybuilding. I guess you can say so. But more so, I just want to you know train just to be healthy. I think that's where a lot of my training now is just like I said, it's just getting movement in it. I'm not training for anything specific to be like super strong or to compete again. I'm just utilizing what I learned, in my training days and kind of just incorporating it into my life today. What's where I can do a lot of prehab and rehab work. I don't really get hurt a lot at all anymore actually, but I do a lot of prehab work, making sure that my joints are healthy, making sure I'm focusing on my weaknesses, whether if it's my deficiencies in my portions of my back or deficiency in my legs, things like that, things of that nature. Just making something that's weak after self-assessing and making it up to standard to the rest of my body, except type stuff. So just making sure that I'm healthy. That's all it is. That's the majority of my goal is just to be healthy.
That's crazy. So I mean, it sounds like you already have the whole physical aspect
Hmm.
taken care of. Like you're already obviously working very, very hard towards that. How are you working to ensure that your mental health, and I mean, I know training has to do with it.
Oh yeah.
um how, like, do you read books? Do you have, like, you have many hobbies, vacations, or
Mhm.
you're the simple type of person? How does that?
I'm simple for the most part. As far as my mental health goes, I mean, a lot of the training, gets rid of a lot of the anger, a lot of the, whatever depression or anything like that. Training makes a huge deal. It helps that a lot. But I reflect often. I spend a lot of my days reflecting, writing down what my goals are, just making sure that I'm on set with my vision that I have. And I do read often. I think last year I was able to conquer. Let me see. One, two, three, about 18 books last year. So
Woo, that's a
yeah,
lot. I mean,
yeah,
there's
18
12
books.
months. So
Yeah.
what do you read? I
A
love
lot.
that, by the way.
Yeah, anything that what I feel in my heart for that specific mood. So whether if it's leading and managing, whether if it's life principles, whether if it's learning more about faith, learning about just about yourself, self improvement books. Self improvement books is really good. That's where I really started off a lot on, and then but I utilize books a lot to learn something new. As cliche as it sounds, and whatever you see on like the internet and stuff like that, oh, you should read books. I mean, it's the truth. Reading books and learning the discipline to just being open-minded and wanting to learn more and more, and you start to love learning. And I wish I had this mentality back in high school, and maybe I would have finished college and stuff, right? But like I said, I don't regret any of those. At least I'm on the right path right now to my standard, I guess.
I mean, yeah, you touched a couple points. Like, there
Hmm.
is this idea that if you don't go to college, oh my God, no,
Oh,
like, by no means, and
yeah, by no means.
I think that's super important to mention. The love of learning. I think that as you get older and you mature,
Hmm.
then you see the value in it. Like,
Indeed.
the whole books. Where did that start from? Somebody in particular, or you were just like,
Uh,
let me pick up this book, and you like what you got out of it?
so my mom passed away in 2018, and I was in a really, really dark place. I really didn't have shit to my name, things of that, and one of her one of her like one of her coworkers reached out to me, and she gave me a couple books. He's like, hey, read this. It's like she was trying to help me indirectly without physically trying to help me through words. She's like, just read this and see how you like it. And ever since then, it's just I've been hooked. I think the first book I've ever really read front to back after that time was it was called The Four Agreements, and that one really set the pace for me. Is really set the pace for me from wanting to read more, because I figured out through reading a lot about myself, a lot about how to manage myself, how to discipline myself, everything of that nature. And then that snowballed into effect of wanting to learn more without having to go to school and learning it and have someone else teaching it to me, because quite honestly, school was never really my thing. Or maybe at the time, I just didn't have that mental capability to want to go through it and actually go to school to learn. I think a lot of people go to college just because their parents say so, or they're kind of forced to, or that's what society says and stuff like that. But um, if I can go, I mean, I still plan on going back to school to learn about specifics about whether if it's for finance or whether if it's for more leadership skills or
Mhm.
management skills, stuff like things of that nature. But yeah, reading has definitely changed my life for the better, for sure. Um, and I like to learn now. Self-educating is one of my ways I've noticed where I learn the best. You know, so yeah, definitely reading is.
I'm so sorry to hear that about your mom, and I didn't know. Um,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
it's crazy, man. I think those moments in life, it changes your life, and only you know what you're going through.
Exactly.
And I think that I'm not a big reader.
Hmm.
I like to listen to a lot of audiobooks and
Oh yeah.
podcasts,
Oh,
and
that's good.
the same thing, like what you mentioned. Just growth in different
Hmm.
areas. I'm a huge number nerd, so
Oh
budget
yeah.
and all that stuff. Um, but I think that, like, I'm a big visual person.
Yes.
Putting out to the energy, the universe.
Hmm.
I like all that stuff, and I think um, once you start getting to know people like you, like I think I've heard of that book that you mentioned, but I haven't ever even thought about reading it. But
Yeah,
you recommended it. Let me see if I can find the audiobook.
yeah, it's a
And
great book for sure.
there's plenty of time to listen to it. I mean, a lot
Mhm.
of us think um I think the time is a interesting thing because now as I'm getting a little bit older, I realize that when I was younger, I didn't really capture it, the
Yeah,
time in essence.
hmm
We were constantly rushing. I mean,
indeed.
I would love to be 15 years old again. Even with all the social norms or all my social challenges or personal challenges or whatever, like it'd be cool to
hmm
be 15 years old again, and to maybe reduce some things, maybe not the whole thing, but um I think it comes with maturity, man. It
It
just,
does.
it's
Yeah,
crazy how things change.
yeah, it does. Life happens, you know. Life doesn't stop for anybody. So it just depends on you to be as adaptive as possible, right? Um, but yeah, like reading is it's that's my thing. You know, that's how I like to visualize it and how I like to learn myself. I mean, it's not the only way to learn it. You know, like you said, the audiobooks and whatnot. Um, I still do audiobooks here and there, but for me, I think I like the actual physical copy itself. I think that's the reason why I pick up the book and read it, um, because not I'm not disciplined enough to just sit there and listen to it. You know?
I would the other way. I feel
Yeah.
like as I'm reading a book, I start kind of like, and so maybe
Yeah.
I miss a few things while happening, in the background or
Mhm.
whatever. But I think like it gets me like, oh, I like that part, so I go back and
Yeah.
rewind. And
Yeah.
so, do you think the reading aspect kind of added just because lockdown and all that stuff? Like, how did you manage through all that? Did it affect you guys a lot? Um, or did it gave you time to be at home with the wife and.
Yeah. I mean, I work from home, so it helps a lot. I mean, like I said, with reading it, I like to read something that's based on what I want to learn for that specific time, what my mood is. You know, whether if it's I want to learn more about myself and how to harness my mental health, or whether if it's I want to learn a specific skills and then I can teach that specific skill to my team, things of that nature. But yeah, there's no wrong or right way to do things. Even when I read, I don't read, I'm skipping words when I read. I don't read every single word verbatimly. I skip to the words that I feel that it's the most important. That's just how I read it. But like I said, everyone has their own different ways of learning it. But I think the most important part is just wanting to learn. And that alone is a big hurdle for a lot of people.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
and that goes for everything, right? Like I
Yeah.
mean,
Yes. Yes.
even um, I don't know. Society right now is kind of crazy. Just with I
Yeah.
think social platforms allow us to just say things and show
hmm
things very freely, and I think
hmm
it gets sketchy just because kind of going back to the same thing about the whole make it to fake it type of thing. People
hmm
are in it for the money. They want to,
Oh
and
yeah.
and that's fine. But
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of challenges that come with that. Just personally,
hmm
when you're trying to grow something, it's very lonely.
Oh yeah.
You may be surrounded by people, but people don't quite understand. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
mentally you're not there, then it's gonna
hmm
be a challenge.
Indeed, indeed. 100%. Quite honestly, 100%. That for some reason, this one saying comes back to me is that if you want to go somewhere fast, go alone. But if you want to go somewhere far, you have to go with the team. So it's something like
Uh,
along those lines. You know?
yeah, no, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Yes, I've heard it
yeah,
before, and it's
yeah,
so
yeah,
so true. It's
yeah.
just
But
man.
it's hard, like I said. I mean, social media likes to skew things a lot. People like to portray someone's whole life just on what they post and things of that nature. Even myself, I'm guilty of it sometimes. And I have to humble myself to be like, you know what, I'm in a good position now, but someone seeing it might not be in a good position. And some of them might take it off as jealousy or enviness and stuff like that. But at the end of it, and I'm still kind of battling through it right now, but at the end of it is this like, why should I let down my standards for someone else's feelings that doesn't pay my bills?
Hmm,
You
okay.
know, um, especially just going through, working with a lot of teams, being surrounded by a lot of people and everything of that nature. That alone brings you down sometimes, whether you unconditionally, whether you like it or not. It can throw you off track of what your vision is solely in your head, People start to change their vision and what they set out for themselves, based on what someone said about them or what they said in a comment or anything like that. And that's hard to overcome. I've been guilty of it too. I think if I didn't listen to some people's advice back then, maybe I would have gotten there faster, but who knows.
Mm-hmm.
um, but at the end of it, it's just like, I know what I have. I believe in myself. I trust myself. I have faith in myself. Why am I gonna, obviously I'm gonna still try to work on being humble myself, but at the same time, it's like, um, the more older I get, is like, you're mad for no reason. That's your problem, not mine. Like, if you're jealous about that, you don't even know me. Why are you gonna be envy? You're just ruining your own day for something that I'm doing, and we don't even know each other. So it's that, that transition of, from the 20s to the 30s to the 40s and things like that. But yeah, I think that was like one of my biggest hurdles too, because like, me, it's like I've always been the type of person to wanting to please everybody. But as I got older, you have to realize that you can't please everybody. You
Mm-hmm.
can't. It's impossible to please everybody. You can do everything good to your standard or in God's way, to the T, and someone's still gonna fucking hate on you.
Mm-hmm.
So once you can get over that factor of you can't please everybody, you start to trust yourself a little bit more. So, but like I said, no one, the things get skewed on Instagram, but you don't know what that person was going through 2 years back or 3 years back, or even 10
Right.
years back.
Very true.
Maybe they got to their point in life where they're flaunting, and yet they get a little bit egotistical. But how do you think they got there? You think sometimes it was handed to them? Maybe to you, they think it was handed to you, but in essence, what if they just worked their fucking ass off, and that's the reason why they have an ego, is because they got there alone,
True.
or they got there from whatever. So like I said, it's like I try my best to be as fair as possible, to humble myself as much as possible. But sometimes when I purchase something or something like that, it's just like, damn, when my family came here, we didn't have that type of shit, you know and I'm glad to be a kid of immigrants, to have that American dream type thing. So it's a touchy subject. But I mean, what it comes down to, it is just like, if someone wants to if you think someone is being too out of proportion for you, then if you don't know them on a personal level, then shouldn't affect you as much. you
Yeah.
know
No, I
so
agree. I think you bring up a lot of different good points.
yeah.
But so then going for this upcoming year, what are
Mm.
some of the kind of goals that you have for yourself? Traveling, or I mean, you mentioned painting the car and things like that.
Yeah, paying the car, maybe hopefully buying a trailer one day to tow my Civic
You
to the
you
track.
mentioned you mentioned that like twice, dude.
Yeah, that's always been a big dream of mine, quite honestly.
There was a trailer in front of you, like it was meant to be. I was like,
Yeah, it was like I said, you got to pay attention to the signs, man. Sometimes like you said, you're a big universe guy, right? Sometimes if you speak into the universe, and you manifest it and work towards it,
hell
that'll
yeah,
eventually give it to you, right? But everyone wants a shortcut. Everyone wants to just sit back and just be like, oh, how come he can do it, but I can't? And everybody can do it. Anybody can. Just because your how you started was a little bit slightly different, or maybe if you feel like you had a disadvantage, it doesn't mean that you're not capable of the same thing. Eventually, you just have to take your time and patience to get there. You know. So, like I said, just live for yourself. Live for yourself. Don't focus, too much on other people's business too much, because then you start to ruin your own vision.
yeah.
You
So
know.
getting a trailer then.
Yeah, getting
That's
a trailer.
Do you have the big SUV already?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Okay.
we finally
Oh,
finally
you
pulled the trigger on the on
wait,
electric.
hold on, hold on. The Lex is gonna be the hauler.
Yes, eventually. That's why I try.
It's too pretty. No.
So that's the thing. It's just like it is, but it's just like I said, going back on that buy once, cry once thing. It's just like, I mean, I know I could have bought something a lot cheaper, but it's something, what my wife wanted to. So it's more so a family vehicle. But then, I knew a couple, maybe 5 or 10 years from now, it'll be solely mine, right? She'll get something else. She'll want something else. But yeah, that's our family car right now. But I just even when we wanted to buy it, it was just like something that I wanted, something multi-purpose. You know, I'm not gonna buy like another SUV, but or SUV that can't tow. then I'm wasting my money. I want something that does it all. I want it all. I want something that does it all. One
you
platform that does it all.
you're gonna be tired after a track day. You want to be in something comfortable. So
Exactly.
I'm with you,
Yeah.
and it looks
So
pretty as well,
yeah.
man.
So a trailer, paid job. I do want to read I only have like 7 books in the queue right now, and I know I'll run through that before the middle of the year. So definitely want to read more books, educate myself more on things like that. What I think one of my biggest goals for this year, and it's something that I'm trying to go back to, is just have more going back to practicing my faith. Catholicism,
Hmm.
or just in religion in general. You know, yeah, and just getting more in touch with my faith, and that's about it. Other than that, I have a lot of other personal goals, and whether if it's like, getting more in shape, or my business. I want my business to increase as well, but those are things that won't grow unless I help myself first. You know, so I'm very internalized, but more so just carrying over my goals from last year and putting into this year is just keep growing my internal growth within myself. Because then if I can grow, then I can grow everything else around me. Why would I try to grow that? That's just my thought process. Why would I try
Hmm.
to grow something in this area, but I don't have the skill sets to do it, or I don't have the attitude to do it, or I don't have the education or knowledge to do it. So just more so internal work with myself and whatnot.
What are some of the business goals that you have?
Business goals. I want to have at least 40 employees by the end of the year. That's my goal. Yeah, 40 employees. Right now I'm at 20, just under 26, I believe. I think last time I counted was 26. Yesterday was 26. Actually, no, sorry, 25. So I have 25 right now. So that leaves me with obviously 15 more to go. And then hopefully trying to fill those spots with clients and whatnot. But yeah, 40 employees by the end of the year is my goal.
What is the hardest part about being an entrepreneur? I mean, wow, that's
Yeah.
20 some different personalities. That's scary.
Yes. Yes.
I
Very
mean, I'm
scary.
listening. I'm like, oh my god.
Geez, I don't know where to start.
You're like, that's why I read a lot of books.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, basically. That's the reason why I read a lot of books, and because, like I said, remember, I'm just like I like to be very self sufficient. I don't want to hire someone outside to come in and train them the way I want them to train, or blah 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 blah. If I can do it myself and use my resources myself, I'll run that with that for as long as I can. And then if I absolutely need someone else's help, then yeah, I'll return to that. But I'm gonna try to do it myself first. Um, but yeah, that's that. As you, it's funny how you bring up the person 27 different personalities and stuff like that, and that it's true. I think that's the hardest part about being an entrepreneur, especially running a team, is making sure everyone's on the same page, making sure everyone knows the same vision, making sure that everyone's in line. I guess everything like that, but it's more so just managing it. We can't. I'm in the process right now of like trying to establish my team to not argue so much as far as a specific strategy, right? But then I encourage it because it brings out
You
different
welcome it. Mhm.
aspects. I welcome it, so it's not a bad thing. I mean, it might shoot their egos at each other for a little bit, but I mean, at the same time, it's just like, hey, we're a team. This is what we have to go through. We have to go through the lows in order to achieve the highs, and think of it as like a relationship. What marriage couple doesn't argue? What things like that. You have to go through everything. You have to go through all the motions and emotions and everything like that to move forward. Um, so yeah, that's with that. And I think another big thing about being an entrepreneur, which I fucking hate that word because social media have blown it out of proportion. I think the hardest part is probably trying to give my 100% every single day. That's the hardest part.
Hmm.
Um, there's days where I just don't feel like fucking doing anything. There's days where I just want to just lay in bed next to my baby and just play with her all day. And to give your day 100% is probably one of the hardest things as an entrepreneur is and staying grounded too, especially with all the distractions and your all free will. Because people think when you become an entrepreneur, you have the freedom, you have everything like
Oh,
that. But
wait,
come on,
you don't have the boats, and
huh?
you don't have the boats, the yachts, and money thrown everywhere.
Yeah, people think that. That's why I hate the word entrepreneur because it's so gratified on Instagram, but in reality, it's a lot more difficult than that.
So, I mean, I just use that just because to me,
Yeah,
like that's. I mean, I guess you could be a business owner, or you
business
can just,
owner, yeah.
or you can just be You know, you can just
Yeah,
you're working.
yeah, it's the proper term for it. Like I said, I'm just like complaining about the actual term
Oh
itself.
no, no,
Yeah,
I'm cool with that because
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it is, yeah, like you know, I know a few people that run their own business,
Hmm.
and the thing about being a business owner, from what I've heard, and
Yeah.
entrepreneurship or whatever you want to call
Hmm.
it, they're like, you will not know yourself more than when you try your own business, because one day you're like, damn, we're doing well. The next day is like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah.
And you know, you're getting some traction, and then it goes down
Get hit with
backwards.
get hit with a humble hammer. That's what I like to call it.
The humble hammer.
Yeah, that's what I like to call it, the humble hammer. You know,
I like that.
you can be on one you can be on a roller coaster one day and be like, oh yes, we're doing so well. And then 2 weeks later, back at the bottom, you know? But that's what I enjoy. I think that's what I enjoy the most of it is the freedom aspect of it. That's definitely a plus because I can be with my wife more. I can be with my family more. I don't have to, you know, especially like say for instance during her paternity leave, you know, I was able to just be home with her and not have to go work my 9 to 5 and stuff like that. So that was a plus side of it.
Hmm.
But the bad side of it is I don't get a constant paycheck every month. You know, I can do my best to obviously, you know, it's a good thing that I focus a lot on, you know, employee and client retention. But imagine if I didn't have that type of skill sets, or if my service doesn't wasn't doing that well, then yeah, I would struggle on lacking a paycheck every single month. You know, I can, etc. But I think that's the hardest part. Is like I said, that's going back to just being showing up and just showing up every day and just being 100% and giving it all my all, which is damn near impossible. But at least you try, and at least you know day after day, it eventually add up, right?
Yeah. So I mean, how do you know, you mentioned about like, okay, well, I'm trying to, you know, be there every single day, but
Hmm.
obviously you have your life.
Yeah.
You have to deal with other stuff, and you have to also deal with the different personalities.
Hmm.
Um, I know it's gonna be a super weird question from my end, but like, do you have certain hours you work, or you're kind of like you're a business owner, so that comes with it?
So at first, I had the ego to be like, "Oh, I'm a business owner. I can work whenever the fuck I want. You know, what I can choose my own hours, blah 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 blah." But in reality, there's no growth in that to me. For me, for at least for my path, there was no. I work when I want. It turned into, especially 2 years ago. Like that's when I was just like, I have to work. I have to put in and you know do the task. And then what sucks about it too is that sometimes you'll do a lot of tasks and you know things in your business that you're working on that doesn't give you money back, you know, whether if it's teaching, training somebody.
Mm,
I don't get immediate money out of that, right?
mm-hmm.
It takes time out of my day to train somebody, and then eventually I'll get my money from, you know, when I get another client hired on. There's things of that nature. I think that's what's most grueling about being entrepreneurs is doing the non-money aspect task. And that's what's the most draining. And that's why people fall off is because they're so focused on the money, but rather there's a lot of other problems within your business that needs more focus, and things of that nature. So that's why, you know, like I said, people that are looking to open up their business and everything like that, just know that the faster you grow, the faster you can fall. Um,
Ooh, good.
yeah, it has to be consistent. It has to be consistent. Don't start a business if you don't have plans and a vision for it 20 years down the line. You're wasting your time. You know, if you only have plans to reach what a $10,000 goal, okay, what's after that? You know, what's after the $10,000 goal? There has to be more than that.
Hmm.
Who can keep it consistent, who can keep it afloat, and you know really just make it into how they really envision it as if it's a dream. You know, turning a dream into fucking reality. You know, like I said, it's just like you know we live in America, and you know I love this country because you know we're able to work on our dreams like this. You know, it's hard. I can't speak for other you know other places in the world, but I'm sure there's not as much freedom as to for you to work on a dream like that. You know, if you really think about it, it's really not hard to make money here.
No.
Really not. It just takes effort. So, like I said, it's just that's the good thing about entrepreneurship is you have to just look at it as a long term thing. So,
Don't worry, you don't have to say that word no more. I don't want.
uh,
I don't want to get you triggered. You're gonna hit the weights even harder. I hate that word.
uh, slowly but surely, like I said. Well, I mean, people think it's just like when you become an entrepreneur, people think that you know, you have to think about it this way. You're working a 9 to 5, you know, typical W-2, 1099, whatever. But when you're an entrepreneur, you're working every single day, 24 hours. Things can happen. Um, there was days I had to call off, going out to dinner, or just because I had an important call because I needed that money right there on the spot. You work 24/7, literally. That's the life of an entrepreneur. So you quit your 9 to 5 only to work 24 hours. you know so, but I mean, like I said, the plus side of it is the freedom that I have. Yes, that's definitely the reason why I chose this route for my career, is the freedom behind it, because I knew that I wanted a family one day, and it's finally paying off.
It's paying off. I was about to say that.
Exactly, it's
Yeah,
finally
because
paying
you
off.
see your baby girl like growing and like
Hmm.
again, pros and cons, right? I mean, you're in the constant verge of like, okay, what's gonna be,
Yeah,
we're gonna be next month, we're gonna be next month.
yeah.
But I think you're setting the foundation. Obviously, you've been at it, you've been in
Hmm.
business for a bit. You're scaling appropriately, so you're
Hmm.
kicking ass. You know what you're doing when it comes to that. Now you're seeing the other side, which is like, cool. I don't have a W-2, but now I can hang out with my daughter not just for 2 weeks because that's what the company gave me.
Yeah,
No, I'm able to do that, and you're still working. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
you're still doing what you have to do, but I think it gives you that sense of, like you mentioned, freedom. And I think,
Yeah.
honestly, man, I'm impressed by some of the stuff that you mentioned. I didn't know a lot of it, and so I'm telling you, that's what I get out of you, whenever I have a conversation with you, or even if I'm within,
Mm.
the vicinity of it. I know I've had the pleasure to hear you and Joe just discuss different conversations, and honestly, I love being a wallflower, just listening to both of you, just kind of, bounce ideas, because he's a
Mhm.
very intellectual
Oh yeah.
individual himself,
Oh
and
yeah.
so having both of you just kind of have a chat is like, damn, like, we're all around the same age, and so
Hmm.
I would definitely say that you guys are much more insightful than I am, and so I am more than open to always just listening and hearing to some of the things. And now I know why you freaking read so many different books,
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just like that. That's like you're that, you know alpha quiet personality. Like, people will listen as soon as you start speaking, and you don't have to be loud. And so I think that definitely, I'm sure that translates to your company, that translates to your
Mm.
family, that translates to yourself. And I'm telling you, man, this is like such a pleasure and humbling experience just to be able to share with you an hour and a half, because I think this is going to go a long way. I
Hmm.
like to listen to conversations like this, and I'm going to listen to this again, um, because I want to hear. I want to be able to understand what you meant with certain things, and I take things away with it. You have to, every single time you talk to somebody, you have to be able to take something away from them,
Yes.
and not necessarily that is good or bad, but you're taking something, and I think you hopefully use that, so it's something positive in your life. and
Indeed.
and I always get that with you, man, so thank you. I really
I appreciate
definitely,
that, man. I appreciate that.
I
I
mean,
really do.
I don't know, man. It's crazy. Life
Yeah. Life is crazy. But like I said, we're given this one chance at life. This is not a practice life or anything like that. This is your one shot at life, and why not live it to your best potential? You know, don't wait on anything. Don't wait on anything. If you're waiting for the perfect time, you already lost.
Mm.
You know, just go out and go get it. Like I said, you don't know. You never know when your time is come or anything like that. So you just give it all your all. You know, like we stated before. Life doesn't stop for us. You know, and then when you start to lose people that are really close to you, you start to understand, like, what am I doing? So find your whys. Live to your best potential. Just go get it. Make sure that you're being better than yourself than the day before. The consistency and all the perseverance will eventually pay you back. Whatever you put in the work now will definitely pay you back in a different season. You just got to keep pushing forward, right? The
Wow.
same concept that goes to everything.
Absolutely. There's no better way to end this. Thank you so much, man. I definitely
Appreciate you
appreciate.
guys. Thank you
Thanks
so
to
much.
everybody who just tuned in, and go get that cold cheese from In and Out. Is there a specific burger that I should be asking, or what?
this
Because I'm
is this, this is how I ordered. I order I order number one animal style with cold cheese, and then I get animal fries. That's my go-to right there.
Then there you go.
Yeah, just gotta ask with cold cheese.
That's what we're gonna do, man. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate it, man, and I can't wait to see you grow on a personal business, and obviously, Frido family forever. So I
I
appreciate it, man.
appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the time. It's been an honor. Thank you very much. Hope you have a good one. Have a blessed year, and wish you the best. Thank you for thank you for this time. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, man.